Students, in the last class we were discussing about the reflection of waves, and we were studying that how the properties of the wave changes due to the reflection. Okay. Since we did not get any idea from the two laws of reflection, but we were discussing about some other rules that will tell you that how the properties of the waves changes due to the reflection. More or less, we have discussed all the rules. Only one rule is left to be discussed. So, your last rule is like this: if any wave is reflected, a wave is reflected, it's coming from this way, it's coming, hitting to the interface, and it's being reflected from an open reflector. Open reflector means, come to the case of the softer interface. Okay. So when the wave is reflected from an open reflector, the phase of the wave remains unchanged. Okay. That means the phase will not change in the case of this softer medium. Okay. That means if you just think in the case of the longitudinal wave as well as the transverse wave, what will happen? That means if you just consider the transverse wave first, the crest of the transverse wave will be reflected as a crest of the transverse wave only. Why? Because as I told you all, that when the wave will be reflected from the open reflector, the phase of the wave remains unchanged. That means the phase will not change. So when the crest of a tra is being reflected in the case of the transverse wave, the crest of the transverse wave will only be reflected. Clear? Okay. Now if you just think in the case of the longitudinal wave, what will happen? A compression of the longitudinal wave will be reflected as a compression of the longitudinal wave only, isn't it? Why? Same reason, because the phase of the wave remains unchanged when the wave is traveling and being reflected from an open reflector. Okay. So I hope this rule number 5 is also clear to everyone, and we have covered all the rules regarding the reflected wave. Alright.